Welcome to Bengals Talk on Digest Media. I'm your host, Mitch Stevens, and today we're talking about Bengals offseason, which has been extremely eventful. Mike Brown and this ownership team has long been criticized for being one of the cheapest ownership groups in all of sports. So what did they do this year? They decided to empty out the bank accounts for Jamar Chase and for T. Higgins. I think both of these are great moves. People want to criticize the other side of it. Do they now have, less money to pay other guys and to build up that defense? Obviously, right? That's the way that this works. If you want to keep your top talent in any sport, but in the NFL especially, you have to make some sacrifices to decide who are we going to pay big and where are we going to look to the draft and free agency on our roster. Right now, does the defense need help? Does the defense, the defensive issues, they need to be addressed? Of course, this defense was abysmal last year. The Bengals were 25th in total defense. They were 30th in red zone defense, which for a Lou Anarumo defense, I feel like they usually have that kind of bend, don't break mentality. Even if they weren't the best statistically, they would find a way to be good in the red zone, come up with timely turnovers. None of that existed last year. Obviously, probably a big reason why Lou is no longer the defensive coordinator for this team going into 2025. So yes, defensive issues need to be addressed, but one thing at a time, right? If you look at the Super Bowl champions from this past year, Philadelphia, they've been to the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years. How are they paying their top players? Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are 1, 2, 3 on the payroll, eerily similar to Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. You might be thinking, the Eagles have the number one defense, though. I get that, but the way that they did that was through drafting extremely well and here and there hitting big on a free agent like Zach Bond, who they signed in the offseason, and all of a sudden he has the best season of his career. So it's possible, and I've totally have, I'm an eternal optimist for the Bengals, of course, but I think that there's a path here with locking up those three studs on offense. They're going to be unstoppable on that end, and I think that they can find a strategy that works on defense. This brings us to Trey Hendrickson. Couple options. You can either pay him big. He wants $30 million a year. We're giving him, he's set to make 15 this year. That's a big jump, right? Or we could trade him. That's what I want the Bengals to do, is trade him for more draft capital on top of that 17th overall pick. Absolutely love Trey. He's an incredible player. But here's what I look at with Hendrickson. He had 17 and a half sacks last year. You could not have asked for a better production. He was outstanding, and the defense was still one of the worst in the entire NFL. So the solution, in my opinion, is not paying him more to stick around, hopefully do that again, and then what do you do with the rest of the defense? I think it's to retool, it's to get younger, save money on the Hendrickson contract, pick up some draft capital, and try to crush it there along with free agency and go from there. But God forbid, do not let us get to the 2025 season and have another holdout situation to start the year. That's bad vibes. We do not want that. Trade him or pay him, but do it soon, Bengals.